Hey everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel God Will Do It For You. My name is Steven. I hope everyone's having a great day so far. And what we're going to be talking about today is your labor is not in vain. And this one's definitely for me because, again, I'm always find myself just wondering, is all this that I'm doing and that I'm sacrificing and that I'm really just exhausting myself to accomplish, and even just making sure I'm available for my son, I hope that something comes out of this really good. And when I mean by something good, it's just a form of happiness with what I'm doing in life. It felt good this week to, get my son's progress report, and he's got A's and B's on it. And, he does get extra help and things like that. I make sure I give all the help that he could possibly get to make sure he's all right in school. So it did make me happy and proud of him to see that. But I'm like, man, God, when am I going to see something that gives me a sense of like, yes, all of this is not for anything. And I had to point myself to 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, and we're going to go to verse 58, and it says, "Therefore, my beloved brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain." So again, as I'm reading the Bible, I always like to find the particular verses that give me that encouragement, because I like to find my encouragement in the word of the Lord. And sometimes I have to remind myself that the labor and the work that I do is not in vain, and that this is what faith is all about, is you have to believe that you're on the right track. It's like, I haven't seen any signs of, hey, you're wasting your time, hey, you shouldn't be doing this, hey. But what I am seeing is my workload is really exceeding what time permits. And so I'm just like, God, what is the ultimate goal? What's the game plan? And I'm like, what is the game plan? Because my schedule's so tight, and even people that I'm talking to, they're like, man, you got to find a balance. And I'm like, heck, man, it's easier said than done. If I take a day off, I'm losing, a good bit of money a day by just taking a day off. And, I had to take some days off this past weekend. So yeah, it felt good to have some days off. But then when I looked at how much I made for the week, it was a chunk missing. And that is one of the pros and cons. I would say con about working every day and making money every day is that, okay, if you're not working that particular day, you're losing out. And I'm just like, God, when is it gonna not be like that? When am I going to be able to say, what, I can take this day off and it's not going to affect the household? When am I going to see some movement towards my goals? Because I have really excellent ideas. I got the roadmap as far as how I want to accomplish them and this and that. And even like, okay, I can see the vision, but I'm just like, how's this all going to work out? What's the game plan? Because I'm like, there's really not enough time in the day to do things the way I see it being done. And the last thing I actually rely on is someone helping me. I'm kind of content with my own self. I'm whole, so I really don't feel like I need to have somebody in my life to help me as far as like lighten the load. That's up to God. If he wants to give me that, I'll greatly appreciate it. But as far as like, hey, relying on someone to supplement what I can't do, it's just a dangerous thing to do that, to rely on someone, because all it takes is that person to disappear, and then you feel like you're at odds with whatever you're trying to accomplish, or whatever the case may be. But I definitely have to always encourage myself, just as David had to when the Philistines raided their camp and took their wives and destroyed all their stuff and stole all their stuff. I just have to encourage myself and make sure that I always keep that fire lit. This morning when I was getting a little down, and again, it's a constant. This process is something else. I just tell you that. It's a constant battle of trying to keep yourself encouraged and keeping that flame lit to be like, what, hey, we got to keep going. We got to keep striving to be the best version of ourselves. We can't give up. We don't have time to get discouraged. It's okay to feel what you feel, but don't let that turn into a windfall of emotions that make you stagnant. Don't allow it to make you complacent. It's okay to acknowledge your feelings. You don't push it to the side. Acknowledge it. Be real with yourself. Learn yourself. Meet yourself. So that way you can really, truly understand how you operate. And you don't have to rely on someone else to introduce that to you. And at that point, now it's a learning curve. God knows exactly what he's doing in this process, and a process in your life as well. But it all takes for us to actually do the work as well. We have to make sure that we are giving our best effort. And at that point, I truly rely on God to make up the difference. Now, granted, I see myself making up the money that I missed out on these past 2 days. And I always say and tell my son, God makes up the difference. God is really good at that. God always makes up the difference no matter what. And that is really amazing. But I always just wonder, is everything that I'm doing, am I wasting my time? Because gosh, I'm going to beat myself up if that's the case. But I truly believe that just based off of the feedback that I get with my food, just based off of the results that I'm hearing with my music and things of that nature, and just overall the person that I see myself becoming, and even hearing from my mom and my parents, like, man, you're a totally different person. You're improving. You're really down for the Lord. I'm really proud of you and things like that. It's all great. I like hearing constructive, criticism or positive feedback. I have no problem with that. But I'm glad that people are seeing the work of the Lord and what he's doing inside me. But now I want to see some results. So my prayers have been expectations, like, hey God, I'm giving 100,000%. I'm doing the best I can with my son. I'm doing the best I can to be really consistent with my schedule. I'm doing the best that I can to take care of this household. I'm doing the best that I can to make sure that I'm working intently towards my goals. And granted, everything takes money. And it's like, just show me that this is all not for nothing. Show me something. Give me something, so that way I can understand that I'm on the right track. And it's easier said than done, because I'm pretty sure Joseph wished he had something like that. It's like, hey, I got this vision. Nothing happened for 13 years. But when I read the story of Gideon, and how Gideon was like, you know what, God, you want me to do this? I need to see something. I need to know that I'm here. I need to know that I'm working with you. And he made a request, and God did that. And so I go based off of that story in the Bible, that, hey, it's okay to say, God, you know what, I need you to show me something. Show me something, so that way I can move forward and more confidence than I already have, and be able to go about the work of you. Because I truly believe that all of this isn't for anything. It's just you don't see anything. I don't see anything. And I'm pretty sure when we apply that today, when Tyler Perry for 7 years wasn't seeing any results for his plays, and for 7 years he was just wondering if he's even, if this is worth it, and that all the sacrifices that he's made, was it worth it? And then now when you look at his life now, and how he's one of the most recognizable people in his particular category, I'm pretty sure he's telling himself, man, I'm glad I stuck it through. And that's just what I'm telling myself. I'm like, what, if God could do it for him, he could do it for me. And I'm not talking about that level of blessing, if that's what God wants to do. But what I'm saying is just, if God could bless him for staying strong and staying, committing to what he was trying to do, then God could do the same thing for me. And my encouragement for anyone that finds themselves in a particular either rut or just a state of, I hope this is all worth it, or I hope everything that I'm doing isn't for nothing. This is what I turn myself to that particular verse right there, to always just remind myself that the work that I'm doing is not in vain. All the work that I'm pouring into my son, we're going to the library. We got to go to the library today, getting books, things like that, trying to get my son more responsible, trying to make him move faster in the mornings, because he's getting on my nerves and going so slow. But just putting all this work in, I'm like, man, God, I'm only one person. You know, but I'm doing the best that I can, and it would just be a dream to wake up one day and not have to do what I'm doing now to earn money. It's nothing bad. It's just I would love to do what I love to do. That's it. And I think anybody would love to do what they love to do for a living. I don't see not one person in the world saying otherwise. And so that's why I'm keeping the faith. I'm keeping my hopes and my dreams and my goals in here, because that's where all the fire is lit for me. And at that point, when I create that emotion and that intensity of, you know what, I am really in love with what I do, I'm devoted to it, you know, I'm connected to it, then at that point it builds into my mind. It's like, this is why we're doing what we do, and we have to stay focused, we have to stay strong and keep pressing forward, because I look forward to the day that God does something really amazing and I can actually share it with you all, you know, because, and even if you all are having something amazing, heck, share it on this page and let me know. It's not only me that has to, you know, we're all going through it, and this is all a journey together. That's what it's all about. So I hope this video did whatever it needs to do for you. For me, even just recording it and saying it out loud and talking to this recording, it's refreshing to me, because sometimes I have to hear myself out loud just to remind myself. It's okay to think it inside, but sometimes, as they say, you know, you read better when you read out loud. So sometimes I absorb my thoughts better when I speak it out loud, because it's almost like I'm speaking it into existence. I'm hearing it. Now my ears are able to receive it as well, and not just it being received mentally. So I hope this video has been a blessing. I hope you all are striving towards your goals, your dreams, better health, love, whatever the case may be. I hope and pray for success for you. And until next time.